everybody, so a long time no see. As you can see, I have a naked face, so I'm going to do a video on trying new products. So some of these I've just swatched, some of these I've maybe used once, and some of them I haven't used at all. So I have my little ring light on today, but I've adjusted the exposure and stuff on my camera just so, because it's so grey outside. Also, the hair. I really think this looks quite cute today, but it's not really my doing. So I was shooting some stuff for sportsFX with Sports Direct yesterday, and it was very like rockabilly, like we shot in a diner, had like the full red lip, all that kind of stuff on, and it was very like backcombed and things. So I haven't sort of washed it this morning because I was trying not to till this evening, because I know I've got castings tomorrow where I want to style it myself. So I've literally just pinned it up because it was huge and I knew that it was going to get in the way for filming today. So I've got my Naked Urban Decay Heat Palette, which I think I've used twice, so I haven't touched all the colours. Not really sure how I feel about it right now. I think it's actually quite a tricky colour palette to work with, especially if you're a little bit paler. I've got some sort of sportsFX stuff that were just things he had lying around that I was gifted yesterday. So I don't think they actually use any of this on me apart from the face mist, which smelled amazing, but obviously I haven't really tried it myself. So I've got the primer, a few bits from them. I've also got a couple of bits of skincare that I will use to prep my face first. So let's get into the video. So the first thing I'm going to do is use this Kiehl's Iris Extract Activating Treatment Essence. Now, from my understanding when I bought this, this is more like a toner. So I put a couple of drops in my hand. You don't need to like shake it or anything like that. And then I sort of rub and like pat this onto my skin, and this is supposed to kind of help with like pores and stuff, because I went in with not a lot of makeup on. I would say maybe like 2-3 weeks ago now, and there was this lovely lady, I think her name was Sunny, and it was the Waterloo Station one, and I bought everything she suggested to me basically because I love Kiehl's. I've tried some of the products that I bought already, you know, previously. I'd run out of all my Liz Earle stuff, although I do keep the hot cloth cleanser for taking my makeup off after work, and I just felt I needed a refresh. My skin wasn't doing what I wanted it to, and so I bought a load of things. She gave me a load of samples as well, which is amazing. So first of all, I put this on. Then I'm going to go in with my Kiehl's Creamy Eye Treatment. This is the avocado one. So this is a really good, so I just take my fingers like this, literally like less than a pea size amount. It's a really good kind of starter eye cream if you are like me. So I'm 24. It's more about sort of good skincare and prevention rather than, oh my god, I've got wrinkles, I'm getting old, all of that kind of stuff, because I'm, you know, hurtling towards mid-20s now, and I'm very lucky that I have really good skin. I don't really have any issues, I don't really have any fine lines. But I do, because I work and also my boyfriend's cabin crew. Now I've been with him a year, because we get standby tickets or whatever through work, he gets discounts. I've gone away, I've been in the sun a little bit more, so I really do want to be kind of looking after my skin. So using your ring fingers, because it's the least pressure, just like to kind of take, I like to take it all around the eye. A lot of people will tell you not to. That's what I do, but ring fingers are best, and I do kind of a mixture of like spreading it out and then patting it in. I like this eye cream because it feels really rich, but it's not too rich. It kind of, as it warms to your fingers, it kind of turns really watery. It's very odd to try and explain to you, but I highly recommend it. Then I'm going for a glow today, so I'm going to be using this Bright and Pearly Radiance Boosting Cocktail, and this was actually sent to me by Soap and Glory. So a lot of this stuff is like PR things, or this actually, I was doing a casting for them. Obviously I didn't get the job, but I mentioned that I did a little bit of YouTube and, you know, gave them my Instagram and stuff, and I had a feeling like they were just being really nice, and they're like, oh, we'll send you some new things. And I was like, oh, okay, well, here's, you know, my details. And they actually did, bless them. They sent me a little box of stuff, so I have been using it. Their new face mask I really, really love. This, I'm not a glow person. As you guys know, I'm not really... I like to look healthy and fresh, and I like my skin to look like skin, but I'm not all about like that insta glow or anything super dewy or like anything super highlightery, and this is sort of what that does. But what I've found, this is probably only my 4th or 5th time using it. But if you're using a particularly matte foundation, like I'm going to be using one that's not particularly new to me. It's the NARS Sheer Glow, but it's quite matte, and I feel like if I don't want to use, you know, if I still want to use powder because I'm using concealer in certain areas, popping a little bit of this on underneath just stops that foundation from looking flat. Like, I will still be very nicely kind of matte and not shiny, but it just helps my skin peek through a little bit so you're not as flat. Right, so next I've got a couple of bits from sportsFX. So this is the Time Out Face Mist, and this is the Cool Down Primer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mist my face, because that bright and pearly, I kind of use a skincare, I kind of use a primer, because it is a little bit tacky, so it feels a little bit moisturising. Right, so the packaging is very plasticky. I don't actually know the price points for these. I do know that they do gym gear and stuff as well though. They feel very plasticky, but like decent, and I kind of prefer plastic packaging, to be honest, if I'm travelling for work or I'm going away or something. So I'm going to do this. This is a face mist and fix. So it says face mist to hydrate and clean face to fix makeup firmly in place. So this is kind of like a primer also, right? I'm just gonna, ooh, oh, it's so fine. Okay, that wasn't even, I needed to be closer. So it has almost like a minty, eucalyptusy, tea tree smell. Like, it smells very fresh and clean. And the mist, as you hopefully saw, was like really fine and actually didn't spray very fast. So you have to hold it a lot closer than you actually think you do. Now I'm going to use the sportsFX Cool Down Primer and Recovery Gel. So it says you can apply it to a clean face, hydrates your skin, pre-workout, reducing redness post-session during cool down. Avoid eyes and mouth. Okay. So, ooh, I'm just going to use like one pump. See, it says it's a primer, like for before sports, but like, unless you're putting I don't know, unless you're putting makeup on, do you need a primer? Or like, do you know what I mean? I feel like maybe this is more like skincare than it is primer, because, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I tend to not bother with makeup if I'm in the gym, unless, which sometimes you guys, you know, I've had a few comments, selfie when I'm in the gym and I've got a full face of makeup on. I might have been filming beforehand and just can't be asked to take it off, or I've come in straight from shooting or casting and I've gone straight into the gym, because otherwise I won't work out. This doesn't feel very silicone-y. It feels very smoothing, but not like really silicone-y. It's really strange. It feels like skincare, and I'm getting a bit of a tingle from it as well, which is a bit bizarre. So I don't know. I don't know whether this is meant to sort of mattify a little bit more. It says it will take down the redness, and I feel like even though I've just smoothed that onto my face and it felt a little bit pinky before, that it has maybe done that. If you see me looking down here, that's where my mirror is, because I can't see from the distance of my camera, so I do apologise about that, guys. And I'm probably not going to edit all of this and make it like fantastically brilliant, so you'll see me looking around, because I just wanted to be a little bit more cash today and have a bit more of like a chit-chatty vibe. So I've actually been working with Sweaty Betty. They wanted me to do some like staff training videos for their staff, like styling, like how hair and how to sort of prep skin and things. And so that was like my first ever proper YouTube job, and that was really nice. I mean, I'm nowhere near being able to make a career out of it. As you can see, my inconsistency is like, it will be an issue, especially because I've started with my new agency. But it was really nice, and so I was like, oh, I miss filming, because I did the voiceover and everything. The first time I ever like had to put a watermark on things and put their branding in and all of that kind of stuff. And it kind of made me miss just chit-chatting to you guys and not having to edit it like perfectly and being a little bit more me. And since I've joined my new agency, I'm feeling a lot better about me as a person, like in general. And so I will probably do a little bit more of a chat about that if you'd like to see more of a chit-chat, sit-down, life update type video. So I'm using my NARS Sheer Glow foundation. This is not new to me. at all. I don't have a new foundation to show you. I'm just going to use it on one of these brushes. I'm not going like super heavy. I don't know even if this colour matches me, but well, oh, it does. It's my summer colour. Okay, that's fine. I was a little bit worried that it wouldn't match because I just kind of pinged it out of my when I'm tan, because I've been in Cancun, so I've got a bit of a colour on me, and I've actually kind of kept my colour all year round. I've been topping it up with a little bit of fake tan, but I found because I've been away a few times, because Brian works for Virgin, if he can get me on a, obviously like it costs us I think we pay the tax on the flight, so rather than the full flight, because it's like one of the perks. I've done like 3 nighters, and like I did 2 nights in Orlando, so that was really cool. So if he has sort of a nice trip where I can get time off work, then bless him, he's been paying to take me with him, which has been really nice. And then obviously, like, because they always book them a hotel room, I'll just sleep in with him, and then sort of we have a food budget and stuff. I pay for things myself and stuff like that, but it's been really nice. I've kind of kept my colour, even though I've been using like factor 50 everywhere, but that's good because I've not once burnt. I burnt the first time in Cancun on the first day, which was really, really stupid of me. And since then I've kind of learnt my lesson. But my second time in Cancun, it was our 1st year anniversary, so I can't believe it. So we met at one of my friend's weddings. Funnily enough, like he very briefly, I think they were seeing each other for maybe like, I don't know, like 4 weeks or something. And they sort of remained friends, and she since met someone else, got engaged, invited him to the wedding, had tried to sort of set us up several times, because he's moved down from Glasgow, so he's half Irish. His dad's Irish and his mum's Glaswegian. He grew up there, so he'd moved down for work to start with Virgin, and then sort of had a couple of chats. Didn't meet up. Apparently that was my fault. I was supposed to call him or something, and I didn't see him like till several months later, until the wedding, so where we actually physically met in person. And then I was quite tipsy, so we I asked if I could kiss him. I don't remember this, which shows you I probably was quite tipsy, and I was doing the bride's hair and makeup the next morning, but I felt fine. I woke up the next morning, but he had rejected me, basically. How cringy. And then promptly came in his towel while I was doing the bride's face, looking for a hairdryer, and I of course was hideously embarrassed and could not face him. The other girls were all sort of sat there doing faces and sorting hair out and stuff, and they thought it was funny and pointed him to my hairdryer, which was sat in the corner. But he came in just his towel, and he's very fit, so he's, you know, he was quite nice looking with his top off, shall we say. And it was really embarrassing, and I was bridesmaid, and as we lined up through the church, as we sort of stopped in our bridesmaid procession, I landed right next to him, sat on this particular bench, and you know when you want to die, like I wanted the ground to swallow me up, and I was like, don't look, don't look, don't look, and I could feel him looking at me. And apparently he came up to me after the wedding and was like, you look so beautiful. I remember saying, oh thanks, and running off. He remembers me completely blanking him and like running away. So one of my friends, sneakily, her partner, sat him with my family, which he didn't realise, having told them all of his party Ibiza stories and stuff, until I came to sit down after I've done all the wedding photos. So that was the story of how we met. We did later that night, we were inseparable. He introduced me to red wine and Coke, because he did a year in Ibiza, he's fluent in Spanish, and he goes to Cuba a lot, and apparently that's quite a big drink over there. I can't remember what it's called. One of you will be from Spain somewhere and you'll be able to tell me. But apparently it's really popular in places like that. So we got quite tipsy. Nothing happened other than we ended up having our first kiss in the basement of her big manor house, which was quite amusing. So yeah, that's how I met my man, and he had a trip to Ibiza booked for a holiday. He had leave off of work, and I asked him to stay, And I didn't know until about 3 months of dating that he had cancelled this like 4 or 5 day holiday to stay with me, like literally the second day that he'd met me. So a year later, here we are, completely and utterly inseparable. And I'm really disgustingly loved up. He's currently in Ibiza though, partying, and I'm like, it's raining here. I'm jealous. So as you can see, I've really taken some work to keep buffing and buffing and buffing into skin. Partly because I'm feeling very chatty and this is real time. But also because it looks really nice. If you spend the time to really work it into the skin, then it looks like skin and it looks so much nicer. Right, powder. I've got this, oh actually let's not do that, let's do concealer. I don't feel like I really need concealer, but I'm going to do it for the sake of trying this out. So I've got maybe a little bit of darkness under the eyes. I dropped it. So I'm going to use the sportsFX Core Cream Concealer, SPF 20, which is fantastic. And it's in the colour light. I don't know how light is. I am normally a medium of some kind, like a light medium. I'm sort of a bit, ooh. It's got one of these weird sponge tip applicators. I don't know how I feel about that. Okay. Oh, this, I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I like this sponge thing, to be honest. The light, I would say, is quite a, ooh, it's quite a standard light. But I would hope, and I don't know because I haven't checked on the website, that this is not the lightest colour that they do, because it is probably light enough, just as you can tell for me, to, with my tan colour, do a little bit of kind of concealer highlighting. And I would hope that there were other shades available, because as you can see, I mean, I'm using the same brush as my foundation so that it blends in nicely. You could use a sponge of some sort if you really wanted to kind of make the colour stick, but this certainly wouldn't be any good for anyone that was significantly lighter than me. So I do hope that they have other shades in this. You can see the colour difference. You can see where I've put it. Obviously I've blended it in, but the whole point was to highlight with it. That is actually a really, really nice concealer. It's not super heavy. It's not a concealer. But it has a really beautiful sort of natural skin finish, like a natural matte finish. I really, really like that. That's really nice. Right, I'm now going in so many sportsFX things. Right, this is the sportsFX SPF 15 powder and bronzer compact duo. So it's got a light powder and a light bronzer. So I'm going to powder first. Ooh, okay, so we've got this that opens, got a nice mirror in here, and then we've got powder. This powder doesn't look dark enough for the fact that this light shade doesn't look very light. Does that make sense? So this is the light shade in this. I haven't seen the other shades. This is all that was sort of out for grabs. This looks very yellow toned to me, and it doesn't look very light. Like, this looks quite, I don't know, I would kind of almost want to say it's a little bit orangey actually. I would say this is far too yellow and too warm for someone that's got pale skin. Even on me, I'd be worried if I didn't have a tan. And this looks, again, just really warm. I know bronzer is nice to be warm, but this looks really warm. So I don't want to put too much of this on. I wonder if it's got any coverage in it as well. This would be interesting. Right, so I'm going to place it where I put my concealer. Okay, so I'm not... Actually, let's use the mirror in there. Should we take off the... Oh, you know when you get that little seal on the mirror and you're like, oh, right. Okay. So I was a little concerned initially about how that was actually going to look. And I can say quite happily that that's a really lovely powder. I was wrong. I still think if you are not my shade, or even if you were slightly darker you could use this, even if you were not my shade, you would, what am I trying to say? I still think that if you are lighter than me, is what I'm trying to say, and this is the only light shade, this might be no good for you. I feel like it adds a little bit of coverage as well. Yeah, I'm feeling like it definitely adds a little bit of coverage. So this is not like a translucent powder. This is not, it's not looking cakey though. It's just really nicely mattified my face. And I would say, again, it looks like skin, even though it's matted it out. So now I'm going to try the bronzing section with my angled brush. Ooh, it's quite, it's definitely pigmented, I would say. I'm going to tap off the excess. I'm sorry that my brushes aren't cleaned. I didn't sort of think about doing this. Okay. I would say this is a really nice, it's a really nice bronzer. I'm impressed. What I would say though, oh, okay, that's a bit, it's a bit heavy. What I would say though is that if you do not have a warm skin tone, I think you need something cooler. If you're olivey or like yellow skin toned, I feel like this is a really nice shade for you. If you're not, I think it could look quite orange. So I like the texture of the product. I like the product. I just think the shade could be an issue. Especially if you're lighter than me. I mean, this is showing up and this is light. And I would say I'm sort of in between a light and a medium skin tone. You guys know I did a bit of work for Barry M a while ago, and they have obviously products on spec that they have to use when they're doing the advertising. I have not used this myself. As you can see, it's like completely untouched. I haven't even swatched it. This is the Illuminating Strobe Cream by Barry M. It's a little bit wobbly in the packaging, but then Barry M is quite a cheap brand. It is also cruelty free though, it's completely vegan, so that is good. I'm gonna just draw this on. I'm not really a highlight person. Whoa. I don't really wear highlight, to be honest. And if I... Jesus! Okay. That is to blend it out. It gives quite a sheen. I want to see what it's doing. See what it's doing to my powder that was there before. Okay, I've obviously brought it in too far here, but we're just going to ignore that because it doesn't matter, it's fine. Get that little bit that I overdid. There we go. Do you know what, actually, once it's in, it does give a really nice sheen to the skin. I feel like I can see where I put it though, and I can see where I stopped blending, which I don't like. So I'm going to go in with just whatever was left on my brush and just go over it a little bit. That's really helping. I actually do like the highlight. It's really easy and it's nice in stick form and it's good value for money. I would say they do another golden shade, which I think would be better unless you're really pale. This is a little bit... I prefer a warmer toned highlight on me because I'm a more yellow toned skin tone, basically. Right, so I don't actually know where I got to because my camera cut out. Also, my mum and my brother got home and I had a delivery all at the same time. So I'm going to quickly do my eyebrows. The only thing I ever really use, unless it is my Anastasia, whatever you call it, Beverly Hills brow palette. It's the only kind of powder I would ever use. This is the Makeup Forever Aqua Brow. It's in the colour taupe, I think. And I always use this crown brush. I feel like it's a really shit brush, to be honest, but I really like it for doing my brows because it's not perfect, and I think sometimes perfect brows look like really overdone. And so I quite like the fact that it's a little bit scratchy. It doesn't always deposit like super even colour. Also, please ignore if you can see that I need to pluck my eyebrows. I'm going to do them like later or like over the weekend before I see the boys. So I've kind of left them this week. And yesterday wasn't an issue because I wasn't shooting beauty, so it didn't really matter. I'm going to put a little bit of this Smashbox 24. Why is it done? I haven't turned my bloody light on. I am literally the world's worst YouTuber today. So I've changed my setup, although actually this is probably a little bit nicer because you can see a little bit closer in. But I forgot to put my bloody big light on, so that background's been really dark for the last 2 or 3 minutes. I'm really sorry about that. So I'm going to take a little bit of this Smashbox 24-hour photo finish. This is a primer. I don't know, me trying to apply my eye primer. I normally use the MAC paint pot in the shade Soft Ochre because it's that sort of neutral yellow tone for me that my skin sort of has as an undertone. And I like it because it almost acts as a concealer as well, because it has got that sort of pigment base to it where it will sort of sit quite happily and cover things like if you've got veins on your eyelids or if you haven't plucked your eyebrows, it kind of, you can sort of scoop it over and it will just hide the little fluffies. I don't often use anything else, to be honest, and it's been absolute yonk since I tried this, so let's give it a whirl. I never really bother putting it underneath, to be honest. I mean, if I'm going to, I mean, I'm doing it now, aren't I? I've done it now. She says, I don't ever do this, I'm doing it. I tend to just take whatever's left on my finger. I don't really crease underneath. Now, this is the Naked Heat palette. There's no real way to say this than to just come out and say it. You are going to get a very similar look every time. And by that, I don't mean your eyeshadow is going to look the same every time, because it's not. Obviously, if you do a smoky eye or you just do a wash of colour and just a little bit of mascara, or you leave liner out and stuff like that, you can vary it enough that obviously you could do like, you know, a million different looks with this palette where the eyeshadow was very different. But what I'm saying is it's all going to be very warm toned. There is sort of no way to not have it be that way. So if you do not like warm tones, then even though I've only used this 4 times, it was, you know, it was really similar. Everything, it looked similar. It was a similar look on my eyes. And unless I'm, you know, you've got friends that are really into makeup and they've noticed that that was a smoky eye and that was not, or this was a copper and that was a burgundy. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to give you that every base covered kind of palette. Something like the original one would do, because it's got sort of gold, it's got a few warm tones, it's got a few cool tones, it's got black. This does not. This is all sort of varying shades of that warm peanut butter colour, oranges, reds. You're going to go in with the colour Chaser, which is the second lightest one. And I'm just going to pop that all over the lid and a little bit into the crease, and this is just going to give a little bit of dimension. I would say that this is probably the coolest shade in the palette. I've zoomed you in a little bit because that's probably the clever thing to do. So you can see, like, that actually is quite a neutral shade, really. Now you can definitely see that I need to plug my eyebrows. So yeah, as I was saying, if you're quite pale, this is actually probably quite a neutral colour for you. Yeah, I think I'm going to go in with Dirty Talk now. And I'm literally just going to bung it on my eyelids. I'm not going to go back in and make it like super strong. I'm just going to blend it into where we put that transition colour. This is quite a nice way of making it not so heavy. I'm going to take a flat brush and I'm going to take dirty talk again. I'm gonna literally tap it once. And I'm gonna go under the eye. I don't think I'm gonna do anything else other than use like a bigger fluffy brush, and I'm just gonna floof this. Technical terms, guys, technical terms. So I'm just gonna blend it out. I think now actually what I'm gonna do is just use some eyelash curlers and a new mascara. So I'm going to take these Kevlar Kwan eyelash curlers. You've seen me do this a million times. I know that I'm not putting any liner on and that might appear a little bit odd to some of you. I'm just going to do this really quickly. You've seen like at the base of the lashes, blah blah blah, squeeze squeeze squeeze, close as you can get, blah blah blah, squeeze 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 at the end. Perfect. I'm going to be using this feature length black mascara by Barry M. So this is a plastic wand. I don't know how I feel about this. It's a really beautiful natural lash. If you've got any kind of like full-on makeup on, you're not going to see it though. I really don't think you're going to see it. Now I'm going to show you something very exciting. So this is the Honey Trap lip balm. I am in love with this. So it actually came in something that my boyfriend got me for Christmas. I think he got me like the Pretty Woman collection, which was a massive box of like Lush stuff. And it was amazing. And I've nearly used it all up and I absolutely adore it. This, not only does it smell amazing and it feels really nice and it's not too shiny for under makeup. It's got this really weird kind of like melty, creamy, but almost like a matte feeling. It's very strange. It's healing. It's not like Vaseline where it literally just kind of acts as a barrier. It's really, really, really nice and I love it, as you can see. I mean, I've used it up nearly. I adore it. Now, what I wanted to show you were these lip kits from Barry M. I don't know whether I think I photographed some of the liquid lip paints, but they do these kits. They've started doing the metallic ones now. And basically, if I can get it out, they do other ones that are like not metallic, but they come with a lip pencil and a matching liquid lip paint. I've actually got several of the normal matte ones and I absolutely adore them. I've also just bought the lip paints by themselves and I have to say, Barry M lip liners are one of my favourite products that they do, and they're actually one of my favourite lines. I mean, on a par with, I really like the MAC ones as well for the fact that they're that kind of in-betweeny softness. Like they don't need a lot of heating up to work, but once they're on the skin they do glide really nicely, because I find that lip liners that are too smooth or too creamy come off, and I actually like to use my lip liner as a bit of an insurance of my lip colour staying on. These Barry M ones are absolutely amazing. So this is in the shade Prestige, and it is one of their foiled ones, or metallic, whatever you want to call it. So I'm just going to apply this. I actually really like that colour. Now I like to give these a little bit of a shake. I do find that sometimes the oil bit separates from the pigment, or like whatever it is separates from something. I don't know what I'm talking about, but it separates is what I'm trying to say. Yes. Oh my god. How smooth does that go on as well? I have overlined ever so slightly, but I'm meaning like ever so slightly. So I'm gonna go back in with this sportsFX powder in the light colour. I do feel like this is not as good as some of my other powders, but I feel like if you really wanted to, because it is quite powdery when it comes up, you could actually use a beauty blender and bake with it if you wanted to. Like there's enough kick up of it that you could probably do that. actually feel like that is so nice. I'm really happy with my makeup look. I really love this lip colour. It's getting really dark outside now, guys, but I hope that you've enjoyed this video and seeing all of my new products. As I said, some of them absolutely were gifted to me for PR purposes. Some of them, obviously the Berry Emma lip kits, you've seen me post about on Instagram and stuff before, I absolutely adore. Especially the metallic are so nice. There's another colour, I think it's 24 carat, it's the gold one. It's absolutely stunning, and I wear that all the time because it's a little bit more subtle, because it's almost like a terracotta colour. It doesn't show up as dark as this. This is stunning and is going to be great for Christmas. I do hope they come out with like a bright red metallic for Christmas. I think that would be awesome. Really happy with my skin. I would say that powder is not the best, but that could be because I've got something glowy underneath. I've used that thingy one, what do you call it, the Soap and Glory one. I might try it without this, but if you're looking for like skin that looks like skin and you like to look really natural and glowy, I mean my skin looks beautiful, I have to say. I'm really impressed. If you're happy to like put a little bit more powder, or you've got maybe like a less oily skin than me, yeah, I'm loving it. So I hope that you've really enjoyed this video and it's given you some sort of new things to think about product wise, and yeah, highly my favourite, I have to say. I really do recommend the lip kits. I absolutely adore them. I'm obsessed. Anyway, I hope you've had a lovely time watching this video. I hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are, and it's a little bit more sunny and bright and perky than it is in grumpy old looking UK. And I will see you in the next one. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, because I'm always on there, not so much the Twitter anymore. I've just kind of lost a bit of interest. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.